Hi, I'm Nick. Nice to meet you, and I'll be your tour guide today. Welcome to SOR Chapel. Here we have the SOR Chapel. This is where we congregate in order to worship Christianity, which is our predominant religion and our only religion, in fact. And as we continue, you can tell the difference. What is the difference between a church and a chapel? A chapel is a more, if you could say, a modernized appropriation of a church. However, it still stays true to the fundamentals of Christianity. So you might be wondering, how does the service really go? So when we begin a chapel service, we would typically sort into our different pews with the reverend at the front. What we begin by doing firstly is we sing a hymn. Hymns are very typical of the Christian tradition and something that we aim to further continue in our place of worship. This is predominantly because they teach us true morals about the Christian values. And we're able to do that in an artistic expression that is universal. Oh, hey, thought we were on break. Okay, let's get back to the tour. As this is integrated with a school environment, we do have as a perfect example why we need to introduce Christian values to the student body. These are the sinners. They have done something that has gone against the ethos and rules of the school. And as such, once a week, we congregate here in our place of worship to teach them what would Jesus do. Oh, hey, come on. Here we have the entrance to the chapel. Unfortunately, we couldn't get in there today. However, this is our place of worship. And you know, we've talked about sermons, we've talked about hymns, but how is it we do this? This is where the objects of our place of worship come into fruition, where we have the Bible, we have hymn books, we have so many other aspects, even flags and tainted glass-stained windows, other things that further perpetuate the Christian ethos in a practical way that can get the individuals in the chapel to play along. But what is it that makes us different? Well, we combine what we would say our school history with our religious history. Within the chapel, we have plaques dedicated across the walls. In fact, we can enter right now. This is just an example at how art plays such a crucial role in Christianity. We have depictions of different Bible stories, different color schemes in order to portray the true ethos of our religion. Even speaking of this chapel, you hear how the objects in play in the architecture creates the vibe. The first thing that we do after we've come across, entered our pews, is we sing a hymn. We have these SOR prayer hymn books and a great example of the objects that help us to perpetuate the Christian ethos in our service. We would stand up, we'd have dedicated right here as if they're saying hymn 32. Why don't we flip through? This is actually Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah. It's a hymn that asks God to bring us into his eternal home as he brought Israel into his promised land. This message and this hymn is how we transfer the sermons, the prayers, the ethos into our own artistic expression. Here we have it. This is where the magic is made. Just looking down, we see a perfect example of another object that we have to aid us through our service and our place of worship. We have the Bible. We have the varying books in the Bible. We even have our own other copy of the hymn book because the reverend always needs to know the words, if you know what I'm saying. And here we have a sermon that focuses on typically something that goes in a broader scheme in the term. So for instance, at the moment, we're talking about Jeremiah. We discuss over the different things about how our own selves and our dignity and values in life can then be furthered. And we do this by a sermon where we have Reverend Dudley, Reverend Ben, and church official to discuss across the whole chapel what we're talking about today. As we conclude our sermon, I want to really express how it is we do things at SOR and why it is we're different. A big part of our service and our place of worship is integrated into our own history, what we do, what makes us, and what makes the SOR community. Along the plaques across the chapel, we see the names of fallen soldiers that attended SOR. We see the names of dead soldiers in the books that are turned over one page every single chapel service. These all tie into our Christian ethos and why it is that we practice Christianity. They are a part of our identity.